Okay, today we are doing a little bit of review because we're going to have a quiz today later in the hour that's on all the stuff we've learned so far this year. So it's pretty much just a review day. Your homework for tonight is more on the heavier duty probability venns, kind of like what you did last night, except just a step up in difficulty. So pretty easy assignment actually for tonight. And they're not skipping anything. There's 3 pages of questions, so it's pretty short and it's all review. So this weekend will be easy for you. But in about 15 minutes, we'll be starting this quiz. And it's about the stuff we're talking about right now. So pay attention. This will be helpful for you in a few minutes. All right. In this probability diagram, we're saying A stands for like alien movies, R stands for robot movies, and Z stands for zombie movies. If you had the N of A union R, N stands for the number of elements in A union R. Well, here's A, and here's R. Do I go to this area right here? No. That's what you want to do because so many times in math when you shade, you're looking for the overlap. That would be different. That would be the, not the union, but the intersection. Okay, so what we want is the union. The union means they just join together into one big group. And if you got into either group, you're in. It's sort of like the fraternity and a sorority. They're going to hang out together on the weekend. If you're in either one of them, you're welcome to come. All right, so all of these guys are in that group. And so how many are there in there? So 5 and 4 and 1 makes 10. There's another 10. So I got 22. Raise your hand if you got 22. Okay, good. So 22 turns into, on the next problem, the top of the answer. The probability of picking a person who is in, oh wait, I'm wrong. A intersect R, the intersect was this part. So I'm sorry, the 22 is not my numerator. The numerator is 3 plus 2 is 5 out of 24 possible. We know? Okay, so raise your hand if you got 5 out of 24. Okay, good. So I'm feeling like you're following the unions and intersection kind of things pretty well. Let's just make sure I'm right on that. And I'm going to give you a different one. Aliens, robots, zombies. I want you to shade for me A naught intersected with R. I'll pause while you do that. I really should have a box around it because you want to like shade outside of some of the circles sometimes. A naught intersected with R. I'll pause while you do that. All right, here we go. What is not A? I like to think of it as kind of like a sunburst, where here's A, not A is anything outside of A, and so it's kind of like this. Okay, so there's not A. Do you agree so far? All right, now I've got to intersect that with R. Well, where's R? I'll do R in blue. Here's R. Now the question is, where do those overlap? Because this is an intersect question, and therefore your final answer is right there. True or false? Do you agree that that's the right answer? Raise your hand if you had that for your answer. Good, I think that's right. Okay, any questions about that one? What you think? Yes? Intersect means where it overlaps with. It's okay, it's okay. This does mean where the overlap. So look, like here's Highway 101, here's Highway 7. Where they overlap is only where they cross each other, where they're both there, okay? Well, the green and the blue shaded. The green shaded was this, not A was the green shading. The blue shading is R. I shaded all of R. Then where do they overlap? It's where did they get double shaded? Okay. Yep. All right. So here's one that's kind of like that, but definitely a step up. See if you can handle this one. Aliens, robots, zombies. And the question is, what is A naught intersected with the union of zombies robot? I'll pause for a second while you try that one. All right, so let's see if you're doing this right. First off, I would start in the parentheses. Why would I start in the parentheses? Because the order of operations says to. All right, so I'm going to start by doing Z union R. So here's Z, and here's R, and I'm going to do in the same color because if you're in either one, you're in the group. There, that's the big group that consists of anybody who's in R and anybody who's in Z. Okay, and then now I have to do not A and intersect with that. I'm going to do not A in another color. Here's not A. Make it like a sun. You can tell where my board's out of alignment pretty easily, can't you? Little squiggle zone there. And so, where do they overlap? They overlap. I'm going to do it in black here. There we go. Raise your hand if you got that one right. Okay, good. All right, intersect and not, and the not is also known as complement, and union, all in the same problem. That was pretty tough. All right, so now let's talk about what we talked about on the very first day. Do you remember that this is called set builder notation? Computer is very squirrely right now. Trying to figure out what number I can write without it messing it up. Okay, there we go. Now, let's, sorry, I can make that a 15. There we go. X, where X is bigger than 7, union with X is greater than or equal to 15. My tip for the day, always make it a number line and then see which version they wanted. Because whether or not they want number line as the format for the answer, number lines help so much that I would make a number line every time. So in this one, what I just want you to do is give me a number line and then give me interval form. So first make a number line for this, then give me interval form for that. I'm going to pause while you do that. Okay, all right, here we go. So this one, number line, here's a 7, here's a 15. Oop, shouldn't put it there. Should put it here. Okay, and now, where should I shade? Well, first off, the 7. The 7 is bigger than 7, so I'm going to go like that. It's going that direction. Then it's X is bigger than or equal to 15. I'm going to do that in blue. That's the or equal to 15. This is the bigger than 15. Now the question is, where do they union? As in anybody who's got it in either club gets to be there. From 7 to infinity. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Awesome. Okay. So that's the 3 different notations. And there's one other thing that we talked about before, and that was distance and midpoint. Who can recount the little story that helps you remember the distance formula? Tell me the story. Go ahead, tell a little story. You walk into... Mm-hmm. Sounds like this. Keep going. The long warehouse. 2 X's are fighting. In a square ring, like a boxing ring. Keep going.
And if you go through the warehouse, in the middle, you trip over a plus.
You trip over a plus sign in the darkness. Very nice. As you're walking.
2 Y's fighting.
Perfect. You've got the distance formula. And it's much easier to remember a story than it is a whole bunch of abstract symbols. Okay. How many of you could have replicated that? Okay, good. Now, would you use it, please, to find for me if I had, I'm going to give you one with square roots and one without. And see if you can handle this. What would the distance be between these two things. If the answer is like the square root of 163, you can leave it that way. I don't expect you to know giant square roots. Pause for a moment. All right, so you should have said the x's subtracted are these guys. Subtract them. I can subtract them in either order I want, so I might as well do it the easy way. What's 5 root 2 minus 2 root 2? 3 root 2. So this becomes 3 root 2. The question is, can you square it? 3 root 2 times 3 root 2 is like this. The 3's can go together and make 9. We're multiplying here. And root 2 times root 2 makes root 4, which is 2, which means 18. Raise your hand if you got that part right. Awesome. Then the other part is the y subtracted, which is much easier. 7 minus 3 is 4, and then 4 squared is 16. So 18 and 16 makes a total of 34. Square root of 34. Raise your hand if you had the square root of 34. Awesome. Now, can you simplify that further? Sure, but I'm not going to make you do that today. All right. How about the midpoint? What do you do for that? Take the average. All right. So, and if there's a square root of 5 in your answer, you're supposed to take the average of it. Do you get how you probably just have the square root of 5 and then you divide by 2? You leave it as the square root of 5 over 2. You know what I mean? That's not the exact answer here, but the point is, if you have a square root that you can't do, I don't expect you to go, you don't want to have a calculator, so I won't expect you to go and figure out what the square root of 5 is exactly. You'll just have to say divided by 2 in your answer. All right, I think you're ready. Clear off your desks, have something to write with. Pause. Actually, I think that's the end of the video for today. It was mostly a review day. Have a good day.